Okay, let's get right into it. We have all felt that feeling, right? The racing heart, the thoughts that just won't stop, that sense of dread that comes out of nowhere. We call it anxiety. But what is actually going on inside your brain when you feel that way? Well, in this explainer, we are going to pull back the curtain and look at the neuroscience of anxiety.
I really want to start with this quote because it gets right to the heart of everything. If you have ever said to yourself, I know I shouldn't be this scared, but I am, this is for you. That feeling, that conflict, it is not a failure of your willpower. It's a biological process. It's a story about competing circuits inside your brain.
So to really understand this, let's paint a picture. Imagine you are walking in a forest, and out of the corner of your eye, you see it. Something dark, fast, moving low to the ground. Before you could even think, what was that? Your body has already reacted. Your muscles are tense. You've stopped breathing. Your body is screaming, danger.
And that's the big question, isn't it? Why does that physical, emotional alarm go off milliseconds before your conscious mind has even had a chance to figure out what's going on? Well, the answer lies in two very different pathways, two different roads inside your brain. Think of it like this. Your brain has two ways information about a potential threat can travel. One is sort of an ancient, unpaved, bumpy shortcut. The other is a modern, paved superhighway. And here's the key. They work at very different speeds. And in anxiety, their relationship is seriously out of balance. All right, so let's break this down. On one side, you've got the low road. This is your brain's ancient shortcut. It is unbelievably fast. It delivers a blurry, low-res danger signal in just 12 milliseconds. Its whole job is speed, not accuracy. Then you've got the high road. This is the scenic route. It takes way longer because it sends information up through your brain's thinking centers, the cortex, to add context and logic before deciding if there's a real threat. Now, the star player on that fast, low road is this little almond-shaped part of your brain called the amygdala. Just think of it as your brain's smoke detector. It's super sensitive, it's got a hair trigger, and it's designed to go off at the slightest hint of trouble. It's not supposed to be smart, it's supposed to be fast. And the manager of this whole operation, the one who's supposed to check if it's a real fire or just some burnt toast, is the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. This is the command center for the high road. It's the part of your brain that can look at the whole situation, add some context, and say, hey amygdala, stand down. It's just a cat in the woods. We're safe. It is the brake. So here they are, our three main characters in this whole drama. In a brain that's dealing with anxiety, the amygdala, our alarm, is chronically overactive. The prefrontal cortex, our brake, is underactive, so it can't do its job properly. And then you've got the hippocampus, the brain's archivist that stores memories and context, which, as we're about to see, can actually get damaged by all the stress this imbalance creates. So let's look at how this all builds up into that feeling we call anxiety. It's not about having an alarm system. We all need one. The problem is having an alarm that is way too loud and a brake that's just too weak. It is all about the imbalance. And this is really the most important takeaway here. Anxiety is what happens when that fast, emotional low road is hyperreactive, and the slow, rational high road is too weak or too slow to hit the brakes. The alarm is basically stuck in the on position. This visual shows you that takeover perfectly. When a brain is experiencing chronic anxiety, that primitive alarm system is completely dominating the conversation. Your rational mind, the PFC, is still there, but its voice is just a whisper compared to the screaming siren of the amygdala. Now, being in this constant state of alarm isn't just unpleasant, it's actually damaging. The stress hormones that flood your system, like cortisol, start to cause real physical changes to your brain's hardware. And that's especially true for our third character, the archivist. So, when the hippocampus gets damaged by chronic stress, your brain's ability to use context and memory gets all messed up. This is why a perfectly safe place might suddenly feel unsafe. Your brain can't correctly file away past threats from present safety. Memories can feel blurry, and your brain starts to develop a bias, focusing way more on every negative thing that's ever happened. And this hijacked brain state completely changes your day-to-day behavior. Your weakened prefrontal cortex just can't make those good, deliberate, long-term decisions anymore. So the brain defaults to its habit center. And this is exactly why, when we're stressed, we automatically reach for short-term comfort. We procrastinate, we eat junk food, we scroll endlessly on our phones, instead of doing the things that would actually fix the problem. This creates such a cruel catch-22. The stress itself cripples the very part of your brain, that prefrontal cortex, that you need to make good choices to get out of the stress.
It's this vicious feedback loop. And it's not a failure of character. It's just a predictable and unfortunate consequence of neurobiology.
Okay, I know that all sounds pretty bleak, but this is where the story turns, and it's the most important part. Because the single most important thing to know about your brain is that it is not fixed. The science gives us a really clear message here. Hope is a biological fact.
And that fact has a name: neuroplasticity. All it means is that your brain is constantly changing and rewiring itself based on your experiences. It's like clay, not stone. The circuits that create anxiety, they were learned. And that means, crucially, they can be unlearned, and new, healthier circuits can be built to take their place.
So how do we actually do it? Well, the research points to a pretty clear three-part strategy. First, we have to find ways to calm that overactive alarm, the amygdala. Second, we have to actively strengthen the brake, our prefrontal cortex. And third, we need to build new pathways and repair the damage, especially in that memory center, the hippocampus.
And the fantastic news is we have proven tools to do this. You can see here how they map directly onto the neuroscience we've been talking about. Things like cognitive behavioral therapy, or a CBT, are basically a workout for your prefrontal cortex. It literally strengthens that rational brake. Aerobic exercise is one of the most powerful things we can do to grow new brain cells in the hippocampus, our archivist. And getting quality sleep is absolutely essential for resetting the amygdala's sensitivity each night, calming that alarm.
So here it is, the ultimate takeaway. That gap between what you know and what you feel, it can be bridged. Understanding the neuroscience isn't a magic cure, but it is a map. It shows us that the alarm does not have to stay on forever. The brake can be rebuilt, and that is a very, very hopeful place to start.